So the poet Mary Oliver asks a question that it pops up in my life because it's one that really I feel is a powerful question for us to keep on our minds. So what is it you're going to do with this one precious and wild life that you've been given? What is it you're going to do with it? We've been given this great gift, and are we using it correctly? Once upon a time. Our life is really the story we're telling. It's what we say and think and feel about what's going on around us. You know, if two people were to live exactly the same life, one might say, oh, my life is filled with mystery and courage and possibility. And the other person might say, oh, my life is filled with hardship and misery. It all depends on the story we tell about what's happening in our life. Now, it's important how we tell the story. If we say, oh, I'm the hero, I'm the victim, I'm the savior, I'm the warrior, I'm the caretaker, I'm the teacher, that matters a lot. But what's more important about this story we tell about our life is how we adapt it, how we revise it, I can't get that word out, rewrite it, how we redo it in times of challenge and change. That is the thing that matters most. Because if we let those things from the outside determine what we're experiencing, we're not going to have a very good chance of writing a no matter what we can have happily ever after. Why can I say that? Why can I say with absolute certainty that every single one of us, without a doubt, can have a happily ever after? And let me say, first of all, a little addendum to that. Doesn't mean everything is happy all the time, but it means we're able to focus on the happiness that we know is there. Because the truth we teach about life is there's two fundamental realities. And those two realities is God is all there is. That energy, that infinite, creative, intelligent energy is all there is. And that energy, that intelligence, that creativity is good. And if God is all there is, and God can only be God, which means God can only be good, then it means goodness must be everywhere, even though it's not the way we might define it in our lives. We might not define the hardships as goodness at the time. But if we can realize our life is just an unfoldment of learning and growing and expanding our perspective of life. We are naturally buoyant and courageous. Ernest Holmes says that in another one of my favorite quotes. He says, but we are born to be happy, to be supplied with every good thing, to have fun in living, and to consciously unite. That's our spiritual practice, to consciously unite with the divine presence that is around us and within us, and to grow and expand forever. That's the story of our life, the bigger picture story of our life. But living that way is a little different. There's more challenge to it. Because in this, let me ask you, how many of you right now in this moment are living the life that you expected? Right. Nobody is really here, but I didn't see any hands go up. And how many of you are living the life you did not expect? Right, because our life is different in our minds than it is in our soul's growth experience. It's a different life completely. And what matters most is, what do we do when the fairy tale or the life we planned goes awry? How do we handle it? What do we do when we're smoothly sailing along and a dragon, a demon, a big bad wolf, a diagnosis, a downsizing, a death happens in our life? How do we handle it? What do we do with it? Well, I know at first, because it's so unexpected, we start going through the woods and not being able to see any way out. There's no happily ever after, because we're so thrown off track, we can't possibly see how there could be good in any of this. Have you been there? I don't know what I would do in my life if I didn't have the spiritual practices and the faith in something greater. Because when we get lost in the woods, fear starts taking over. And the fear that protects us from danger, that's a good fear that keeps us alive and awake. Ooh, maybe this isn't so good, maybe this is better. That's a good fear. But the fears that are most devastating are doubt and worry and confusion and inner conflict, because they keep us winding around in that forest of darkness. We feel oppressed and not being able to see that light of faith that wants to pull us upward into something more. So I want you to think about when you hit that horrible time in your life, when you are just totally blown off track. What is it that pulls you back up? What is it? Yes, we can stay there for a minute and wallow in our misery for a time, but we need to stand back up and know that goodness is waiting there for us. There's something more that's calling us, that we can grow and expand. Every story needs a big bad wolf. If there wasn't a big bad wolf, there wouldn't be a hero, right? And we have to be the hero of our own lives. If you can think back on your life, it's a time when you've been powerful and courageous and you've handled things that make you feel the best. Every story has to have an antagonist and a problem in order for us to learn and grow and expand our vision into something more. Ernest Holmes, before I say that, it's not only the story we tell about our life, but it's the container we put our life in that really matters. Are we putting ourselves, or the shape we make our life? Maybe if we're trying to live a linear life, we better get over it, because we have to learn how to live out of order, because life doesn't happen that way. There's a beautiful cycle of creativity that happens. Yes, in life we have beginnings and endings, and then these really messy middles. The middles that we don't know what's going on or where we're going or what's going to happen. I'd say we're living in one right now. We don't know the end. But what happens in those messy middles, in the very first book of the Bible, the first Genesis 1:1, the first line of the Bible, it says, "In the beginning, God created heaven and earth." And you can put a period there, but that's not, the second sentence says, and let me read this exactly. It says, if I can find it, and if not, and the earth was without form and void, dark, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. That doesn't sound messy. What is there? But that dark slate is where creation is born. And so we get a chance at these times to live from the inside out, to let our creativity just boil up. And when Elliot was singing his beautiful song today, it reminded me of, when times are the toughest, we have to look for God in the smallest places, because we can't find him in the bigger places at that time. Those were the things that Elliot was singing about. Find it in the smile of a friend, just the sun rising, in a plant that's budding. We have to look for God in all of those places, because the only thing that's going to combat that fear of that dark wooded area, or that face of the earth that's all dark, the only thing that combats that is the faith, the light of faith, that there's something more at work. Yes, God is all there is, but there is a power for good in the universe and a law of good greater than we are, and we can use it. We need to learn to apply that law of goodness on every problem we have. There's something that wants to be changed, to be revised, to grow, to be learned here in this moment right now. Right now in this time. So for us, here at this crazy time of life where things are just up and down and different and we're not sure what's going on, we need to be trying new things. We need to be stepping out of the box. We're not in that linear mode or in the box. We need to blow that away, because Ernest Holmes said, life is an eternal spiral upward. The entire existence is this eternal spiral upward. And if we can think about a spiral is ever moving upward, and it stays close to the center. We must be balanced inside, that inner faith, that inner knowing that something more is at work. You know, I've been a wonderful benefactor in this trying new things of a wonderful friend that is really baking to express creativity. And yeah, that's the COVID 10 pounds, but been sharing in that delicious goodness. It's been so fun to share and eat the fun, creative things. And I've been the benefactor of also some beautiful masks that people are making, using their time to create new things. And I had a beautiful red one on this morning, and I'll wear it when I leave. We're creating new things. You can experiment. You can dig in the dirt. You can cook and paint and write. Try new things. But the thing that I truly invite us to do is look for God in the smallest of things. Seek wisdom from one another. Seek wisdom from books you read. We had a little survey, and if you've gotten that survey, I hope you've sent it in. And if you didn't send it in, we'll send it out again, because it helps us really in this difficult time for our center to really know where people are at in their own lives. But what we heard back is that the circles we have that have been meeting on Zoom or socially distanced outside with masks, whatever safe thing people can do, they're working for people. The practitioner and minister calls are working for people. We need to see what's working. Definitely the theme events we've had and one coming up are working for people, new ways of connecting. We had a happy hour this week on Thursday evening from 4:30 to 5:30. It was so much fun because we could only share happy things. It was so much fun. I invite you, we'll be doing it on Thursday evening just for 1 hour. You bring iced tea, a glass of water, a glass of wine, whatever it is you want to have, or nothing, but it's all about being happy for 1 hour, and only happiness can enter. So here we are in our story. I want to remind you that in this time, besides just doing new things for yourself, I want you to learn, or I invite you to learn how to dance in the rain. In the Native American tradition, their traditional belief is that when they dance and do their ritual of dancing, it is a spiritual activity. It's a spiritual dance, just as the Sufis dance. And these dances, too, have a lot of circles in them. And the dance calls in the spirits. The dance is to summon the spirits in. And the dancing erases the negativity on the earth. Boom. It's like a mental and physical cleansing of the negativity that's on the earth. And the dancing, which goes on all day, cleanses that negativity. And the spirits are called in to bless the world. We can dance in our own hearts and our own minds. And we can be calling in, cleansing our mind of negativity, and opening to the beautiful blessings of Spirit. It's like taking a spiritual bath in goodness. We can do that right now. You and I can do that. We can cleanse that and know it. The thing that, and Ernest Holmes, I want to share this quote from him. He says, well, my invitation to us is love life more than we ever have, and that's a challenge right now. But we never said this spiritual practice was going to be easy. He says love is within us. It cannot be destroyed. It can be repressed. We can repress it down, but that love is the truth of our being. To the extent that we abandon love, we feel it has abandoned us. So if you're not feeling loved in your life, it's time to love more. Love yourself, love one another, love God more. Denying love is our only problem, and embracing it is the only answer. Through the power of love, we can let go of past history and begin again. Love heals, forgives, and makes whole. So when we start that process of loving life, loving ourselves, loving one another, we can start a new energy that opens our hearts and minds, that we can dream of new possibilities. Ernest Holmes also said, anything you can dream of, you can make happen, as long as it doesn't hurt anyone and brings out what we talked about before, and brings out the goodness. We can dream of anything. So what I'm going to ask us to do right now is to say one of the most life-affirming things we can say. I want you to see where it takes you. Once upon a time.